TLDR, is it a good book? This is one of the best self-improvement books I've ever read. Seriously, it's a classic and something every single person on the planet should read. How will it help me? You'll be inspired with practical, evidence-backed lessons on how to turn your life around completely using small daily habits that stick. What's the best idea you got from it? You don't rise to the level of your motivation, you fail to the level of your systems. Amateurs let life get in the way, professionals stick to a schedule. Where do I get it from? Links are in the description. Hey friends, welcome to Book Club, where I share 4 inspiring and thoughtful ideas from books that help you to think differently and live life in a more meaningful way. So grab your rakabi, lift up your pinky finger if you need to, sip on your masala chai, and let's get started, because today's book is Atomic Habits by James Clear. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fail to the level of your systems. What's great about James Clear's writing, both in this book, but also any of his free content on the internet, is that it's always accessible. It's always easy to follow and understand. When I first got started learning about personal development and self-help, I did what most people do. I really focused intensely on the standard things, stuff like goal setting, vision boards, affirmations, manifestations, and all those things that you often hear about. And I remember I used to listen to Eric Thomas mixtapes on repeat in a bid to motivate myself as much as possible so that I'd wake up early every single day. And then anytime that I failed to achieve that goal and I ended up sleeping in, which inevitably would happen, I would question myself and I would feel really bad about why I hadn't achieved that goal. And I would look for more motivation to help me achieve the things I wanted in life. But one of the foremost lessons, not just from this book, but in all of the years that I've been reading James Clear's newsletters and articles, is the importance of your system rather than your goal. The motivation may or may not come, but if I can focus on designing my environment so that the default actions are good, it'll be, as James Clear says, your habits make up your life, not your motivation. So if you change your habits, you change your life. And in order to do that, he recommends 4 things: make it obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. The second insight that I loved from the book was the importance of identity and behavior change. Now, this is something that I'd come across before in my NLP training, looking at the work of Robert Dilts, that when you focus on changing your identity and basically the way that you view yourself, your behaviors will naturally change as well. So if you believe that you're a lazy procrastinator, that identity is slowly supported with evidence and experience over time until it becomes fact. And so all your present and future behaviors are decided through that lens of how you view yourself. But if you change your identity to, I'm a Harvard professor, or I'm a future Harvard professor, for example, maybe you'll start showing up to your classes at school in a very different way. You might take your notes like a class professor. You might ask different questions, more challenging questions of yourself and of the people around you at any moment. So the question here is really about, who do I believe I am? And who do I want to believe myself to be? And in the words of James Clear, I noticed this was one of the most popular highlights. Every action you take is a vote for the person you wish to become. And no single instance will transform your beliefs, but as the votes build up, so does the evidence of your new identity. And just as your habits can work for you, they can also work against you. The results that you currently have in your life today, they are a delayed reaction of all the habits that you've had in your life up until now, the system that you are living in every single day. So if you want to make a real and lasting change in your life, think about your identity. Who is it that you think you are? And how is what you are choosing today going to affect your life tomorrow? Because you're either acting in favor of that future version of you or against it. And I find that idea as well useful, that if I'm procrastinating and delaying today, I'm just stealing success and happiness from that future version of me tomorrow. So I'd rather vote for happy ideas and memories in the future by building the good habits today instead of skipping the good habits today. Which brings me nicely to my third insight, and that is, professionals stick to the schedule, whereas amateurs let life get in the way. I think when it comes to achieving anything in our lives, having a schedule and creating one, that's step one. That's easy. But what's harder is adherence, sticking to it. And I can't tell you the number of times I've set a schedule for myself to do something and made some really interesting plans, and it's really complicated sometimes, but then I've never stuck to that plan, even though it's a really good one. And that's probably why so often so many of us fail to achieve our writing goals or our fitness goals and so on, not because we lack the knowledge, but because we lack that important word, adherence. And we're going to talk about this in a future episode of Book Club when we get to David Goggins' book, Can't Hurt Me, because this reminds me of what he says in that book, that the conditions are never going to be quite ideal. So we should focus on getting things done here and now rather than waiting for every single thing to be perfectly ideal. So I invite you to reflect on this as well. Where are you waiting for the conditions to be ideal before taking action? Where are you using that as an excuse to sabotage yourself? And what could you do to remind yourself to act even when you feel lazy, even when the conditions aren't perfect? And then last but not least is this quote, which I think really sums up why James Clear's ideas, his writing and style are just so effusively popular today, because they keep things simple and free up our mental load. He says, habits reduce cognitive load and free up our mental capacity, so you can allocate your attention to other tasks. The only way to become excellent is to endlessly be fascinated by doing the same things over and over. You have to fall in love with boredom. The ultimate purpose of habits is to solve the problems of life with as little energy and effort as possible. There's so many things that we have to do on a daily basis that take up our mental energy and bandwidth. And some of them we love doing, some of them we avoid doing, some of them we put up with, some of them we do automatically. And that's the thing that habit change takes advantage of. And I think the greatest appeal of these ideas, the automation of our behaviors to help us live freer and more clear lives. And that could be developing a system for how we plan our meals for the week, or how we do our shopping, or wake up ready for the day. The thing is, habits are already everywhere in our lives. But it's just that by actively designing and shaping them, we're taking greater control over what matters to us and also what doesn't. So if you're thinking about reading this book, like I said, I highly, highly, highly encourage you to. It's only by sitting and exploring these ideas, you can see I've highlighted so many pages in here, that these concepts will become saturated into your life. So don't just watch this video, go and read the book. The links to buy Atomic Habits are down in the description below, so feel free to check those out. I highly recommend as well checking out the audiobook, and if you use my special affiliate link, you can get Atomic Habits for free, as well as a free 30-day trial when you sign up for Audible. Alternatively, if you want to buy a physical copy like I did, I recommend using the bookshop link because it supports independent local bookstores. Click over here to watch more videos like this about Atomic Habits. Here's some more summaries. And click down here to join my weekly newsletter, where I share more ideas and insights like this, including my weekly podcast and book summary of the week. I'll see you next time. Peace.